right now you are seeing is it's a constraint rule screen. You can see it like everything is same here. So the introduction part, the condition part is same, and the action part you can see. So if you see the action part, it's like for now it's looking same, but whatever the logic or whatever the purpose of the rule, then the behavior is different when we start writing the logic. So one second. So right now you are seeing a hiding rule page. If you see the action part, so it will be same for recommendation rule and constraint rule. But if you see the hiding rule, so here you can observe, I in the action part of the recommendation rule, I added one action attribute. So action attribute is nothing but where the change will reflect out with the help of this rule. That's called as action attribute. So here I added action attribute. So I can see when I click it, so I can see this all these things, values to set, add, entry manager, and everything here, because we need to set a value to it. So that's why this all UI. And if you see the constraint rule, so you will see the similar things here, because with the help of that area we need to restrict some values, or we need to code allow some values like that. Either to allow, either to restrict, we need to do something. We need to add some logic here. But when it's a hiding rule screen, so even if you click the action attribute, so there will be nothing here, because the purpose of the hiding rule is whatever the condition or whenever this rule run, so that at that instant, at that moment, so whatever your action attributes are there, you just need to hide it. So you don't need to write any logic or something like that. So there will be nothing or here, nothing, no fields are there, nothing is there, so it's empty here. So that's the main difference you can see, like when compared to recommendations, constraints, and hiding rules. So action attribute, just you need to drop the action attribute, there will be nothing else to do in the hiding rule. The introduction part, you need to fill the rule details, and you need to apply the condition, like you can use simple condition or advanced condition. So you need to apply that. So you can skip the condition by keeping it always true. So that's the main difference between these three rules. So right now, like as I said, like earlier, we just added one second. We just added a simple value here. So by giving a static value, so to recommend something. But if you want to apply some logic, you need the help of a editor or text editor, or like the script editor, where you can write your logic. So at that time, so you need to use click this define BML function. So once you click it, there will be like this editor will open. So you can see the multiple tabs here. So if you see the first tab, attributes tab, so here attributes are nothing but what so to write some logic, so there will be situations where you need to depend on other values as well. For example, you are setting a value to a particular field, so then you need to depend on some other fields. For example, as we discussed earlier, so there will be a fields like country, state, and city. So country you will select by default, that will be fine. But when you thought of selecting state, so there will be a list of all the states in this world. So when you select a country, it should filter the states which belong to that particular country. So the field itself is fine, but according to the situation, when there is a country value, you want to restrict the scope of the state. So that means you are applying some logic behind the screens. So this can be done like if it's a simple thing, we can handle with the simple adding entries. But if it's a complex thing, like if you need to deal with the hundreds of state values or something like that, So then you definitely you need to write a logic instead of writing adding entries individually. So at that time, like you need the help of this editor. So here what we saw is like the state value is depending on the value selected by the country. So there is a dependency of the attributes. So whatever the attributes or the fields you are using it as inputs for your logic will be added in this with the help of this tab. So for example, the rule is to restrict the values or allow values only the state values only related to the country selected on the UI. So this rule is going to do that. The state will project only the 3 states respective to that country. So for that to happen, here the attributes tab is there, right? So here your condition is dependent on country. So you need to add country attribute here. So you'll click add here and you will search for country and you will select it from the drop down and that's it. So like this, you need to add your rule inputs here. So whatever the logic you are going to like inputs you are going to use in your logic, all those list of attributes you need to add it in this section. So these are called as input attributes. Whatever this is called, so in the action part we added this is called as action attribute. In the script, if we need any inputs, we call them as input attributes. And you can see the function wizard here. Like we call BML, right? The coding, the main thing, how to write the logic and all. So this tab will help you the like almost everything can be done with the help of this task, like the syntax and all you can see here. So this function wizard, if you see, there are two drop downs here. One is category and one is just the function itself. So if you click this function drop down, whatever the BML functions, like everything keywords or everything supported in this editor, you can see them here. So there will be around around 180 to 200 functions or keywords here. So if you want to learn the complete BML, so you need to go through this all these functions. So you can see the list of functions like related to it. It contains related to strings or URL related things, date types, arrays, dictionaries, like that. So different kind of functions related to this BML will be there. And to filter them, they provided the category here. So if you provide some category here, if you create like math, you select, you can see the functions related to math here, like that, strings. So these are all the functions which can be supported in this editor. And so like it's you can treat this coding like as you will find it similar to C language or some other languages. So you won't be finding difficult to learn. So for the like for the first timers it will be difficult, but as you already like into some other languages coding, so it will be easier for you. You just need to like make sure what is the syntax, that's it. Other than that you don't need to have to consider concern about this. So yeah, if you observe the other part, other tab, debugger, what is the use of debugger is, so you write some logic and you need to like you can check only when it is whether it is running properly on the UI or not. So every time you write the logic and deploying the things and after going to the UI, so instead of taking all that process, so you can simply uh, check the like result here. So whatever, if you see the inputs here, function inputs, so whatever the attributes you enter here, so they will appear here. So for those inputs, for example, as we discussed the state, country and city, right? So we want our logic is to set a city proper city value or proper show proper list of city values. So in that case we need to depend on state and country attributes, so that we add it as action attributes here in the debugger. So whatever the in input attributes here, so whatever the rule inputs are there, so we they will be populated here, the attributes. And here in this field you can enter some values. For example, I'll enter country as India and state as Telangana. So like that. So these are two inputs for testing. I can enter here, and once you run here, so basing on your logic, it will take the inputs whatever you enter here, and it will show the output here in the console. For example, there are three states in as per your logic. For India and Telangana combination, it will show the list of three states here. So like that. And one more thing here you can see is data import. So right now, as we discussed, so whatever the rule inputs are there, everything will appear here. So we need to enter each value here. Whatever the inputs are there, we need to enter test values. So example, I can enter India or America like that. So instead of, for example, if it's 2 or 3, it will be fine. So what if the rule inputs are like 25 or 30 or like that? So there is a situation like you may need to use like lot of attributes in your role. So in that situation, it's very difficult to enter all those values every time. So you need some help for testing like multiple times by entering all those values. So that can be avoided with the help of this field data import. So how it will be helpful for us is on the UI. I'm just taking this screen, this model. I just opened the existing model on the home page. So you can see the list, a lot of fields here, right? So for example, all these 10 or 20 fields are there, you can assume. So all these rules, all these fields are inputs to your attributes, inputs to your rule. So you need to consider all these fields condition. So in that situation, so you can come to the configuration screen, you can open some model and you can select some values. For example, I'm selecting medium. For the specialty field, I'm selecting it as the works, and toppings I'm selecting as onion or something like that. So I'll configure whatever the 20 or 30 attributes are there on my configuration screen, and then so there is a facility to add it as a favorite. So once I select every value, so right now there are three options for this size. I selected one option. Crust is having two options. I selected one option like that. So for every value or every field on the UI, I'll enter some value. Either it's a text attribute or menu attribute or something, Boolean attribute. I'll enter something. So this is a Boolean. I'm checking it. I'm making it true. So like this, all these fields I need to use in my rule as a condition or in the logic. So in that situation, I can't enter all the values every time I test. So once I come to the configuration, I select all the fields, and there is a facility to add favorite. So there will be a button here. So once we configure everything, if we click that add favorites button, so whatever these inputs are there, so everything will be stored as one record, and that record will be given as ID. So what that ID will contain is, for example, this is the size attribute. What is the value of that size attribute? What is the value of the toppings attribute? Like that. It contains the list of attributes and its values. So that ID, whatever the favorite ID is there, if we go back to the role section, so here in the data import, we can enter that favorite ID and we can click simply import. So all our list of 10 or 15 inputs are there. So those values will be populated automatically. Earlier, only the attributes will be shown, and here the values will be empty. We need to enter to test. But if it's the favorite ID, you just need to enter the favorite ID and you need to click import. So whatever the user configured on the UI at that time, like creating the favorite ID, creating a favorite, so all those inputs will be stored under record. So if you import that record, those will be populated. So that you can test multiple times with the help of this ID instead of entering all those values statically every time. So that's the help of this field. And once you are done with all entering everything, so you can click run and you can see the output here. So clear is nothing but whatever the console is there, it gets cleared. And you can see the other tab here. So these all fields will be whatever the console you are seeing or whatever the editor you are seeing. So this will be same for either recommendations or constraint rules or hiding rules, everything. So whenever you open some rule, so it will be like this. not only in the action part, so there is a in the condition part also there is some defined BML, right? Let me show you. So whatever the editor we are seeing, so not only in this action part, so in the condition part also we have this advanced condition function, right? Sorry, advanced condition area, right? So when you check this radio button advanced condition, so you can see the button again, so view or edit BML function. So when you click this also, you will get the same screen, this editor, attributes, function, wizard, everything. So whenever you, in the rules you want to write some code, so the screen will be like this. And the fourth tab is library functions. So library functions are like, for example, here you have the attributes, right? So to run this logic, you need some inputs or fields. So you will you need to like access them. So to access those fields, you are adding as them rule inputs here, or input attributes you can say, or rule inputs you can say. So those are the fields which you need to use in your logic. This library function is nothing but, so to while writing a logic we need to we may need to use the some redundant code, right? So you need to use some logic multiple times in that code, like particular logic. So you may need to use it multiple times in your logic in different areas. So in that situation we need to avoid that redundant use, or to avoid it the long thing. So we generally create functions or library functions in that. So for example, in general coding, if you want to uh, do some calculation or something, so you'll create some util libraries, or in some coding, so there will be by default, so there will be some libraries given in the console or something technology. So you can readily access them. For example, if you see, you can take the example of this function with itself. So to write some logic, so here there are all the some list of functions. If you can see, like there is a substring here, so you don't need to write logic to extract a string from it. So there is already some predefined function here, substring. So you can directly use that function in your logic instead of writing your own logic to extract a string. So similarly, if there is a redundant code in your project, so you can create that logic as a function or library function in your product. So earlier, like we came across while showing the list of course content. So there are library functions uh, where of confined to two areas. One is commerce library functions, and one is util library functions. So those things you can access in this library functions tab. So whatever the functions you create already, so you can click add here, and you can import them. So instead of writing that logic in this rule or multiple rules, you can simply import that library function, and you can access them. So if you want if you want to customize it, so you can, after importing the library functions, for example, you need that library function in two rules. So this is one rule, there is one more rule. So you can import them, and basing on the situation or this rule, you can pass your values. So similarly, the library function will be same in the other rule. So basing on your requirement, you will pass different values like that. So to avoid the redundant in general, you can say, so you can use the help of this library functions code, like to avoid the redundant code, or not only that thing. So if you want some particular functionality as some like unique record or something like that, unique area, so you can keep that function over there. So you can use it here. So these library functions will be like two areas we'll be having. One is util library functions, and one is commerce library functions. Commerce library function will be only confined to second module of this tool, like configure pricing and quotation, right? Only second module you can access your commerce library functions. But whatever the util is there, a util library function you will create, that util library function you can create uh, in both the modules, like config commerce. if you see the util what you create can be used in commerce or in config, but whatever the commerce library function you create, so this can be accessed only under the commerce, so you can't access it outside the commerce. So that's the difference between these two functions which you will create. And out of these two library functions there are restrictions also. So if you take this commerce library function, once we see that screens you will get to understand. So there will be a flexibility of adding the rule inputs and accessing them directly here, but as the scope is like across the config and across the config commerce processes, so here there is a restrictions of using the rule inputs. So once we open the screens you will get to know. So we need to some form the data in some strings or some data structures or some things, so then only we can access those values. So you'll get to know once we go to the screens. So this is the editor where you can write your code. So and you can observe one line here: function should return type string. So whenever you open this editor, so you can easily understand so what is the resultant of this script you're going to write. So you can see the hint here. So that means, so out of whole logic here, so the end should be returning a string. This is because here you can see the action attribute, right? So this action attributes, so that whatever the return type is there in that editor, so that is dependent on the data type of your action attribute. So right now this is a text attribute. So whatever the logic you write, so as it's a recommendation rule, you want to set some value. So that return type should always obviously be a string. So for example, if it's your attribute is a Boolean attribute, so the return type should be a Boolean. So if it's an integer attribute, the return type should be a integer. So basing on the action attribute, so your function return type will be dependent. So you can see like when you're writing the code, you can see the hint here and you can understand like what we need to return here. And you can see the buttons here. So validate is nothing but once you write some logic, if you want to check it's everything is legal or not, like everything is syntactical or not, so you can validate it here. So it will throw the errors here at the top. So if there are any errors in this code, save is nothing but just to simply save this code. Save and close if you click, so this will save the code and close this editor also, this screen also. Close, it will save without saving. Sorry, it will close without saving. That's it. So this is the editor screen, and you have this, you can see this question mark icon. So if you click, it will generate the help kind of thing regarding this editor. So you can see about functions, some statements, operators, time zones. Time zones you'll get to use in while working on date functions. Commerce rules, nothing but so this editor right now you are saying is like it's designed like globally. So here commerce rules is there, right? So this editor is a global link. So when you work on commerce related rules, in the commerce also there are rules. So when you work on those editors, you need the help of this tab. Did anyone create different types of flows and different types of attributes?
No, Karthik. I think from my side, no. I didn't read anything.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see. I mean, I have a question for that Get UI only. So, is that Get
Sorry?
UI? You know, that Get UI is there, right? Ajax
Yes, yes.
Get UI. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, will that help us to update data to the database? It will help us to just update the different attributes within that model or within that family. How
Yeah.
exactly can you able to?
Yeah, Jet UI. So whatever the facility is there, it will be confined to only that screen. So whatever the fields are there on the screen.
Oh,
So if there are any modifications, so we generally
mhm.
know that whole page load concept, right? So to change
Yes,
something,
yes.
we need to get the URL again. So like to avoid that only, so similar to Ajax concept, so they added the jet layout concept. So as we see here, multiple attributes are there.
Mhm,
So when I select the size, I need to recommend
mhm,
some crush type by default. This
mhm.
can be done earlier. I select size and I need to click update. So then only whatever the crush type I want to recommend based on the size, it will apply. So now in the jet layout, what it happens is I will just change the size value. It automatically updates. So in that update, so whatever the required fields or dependent fields are there, it will set the values or it will hide or it will constrain whatever the rules are there. It will execute to the related
So
attributes.
okay, so we can do a DB call, right, to get data in that jet Ajax thing. Can we do that?
We can
Let's say.
do the DB
Uh,
call, yeah, but
so what I
it's
mean
on
is that
our
here,
logic.
Karthik. Okay. So my question here, Karthik, is some kind of a lazy loading concept. So
Okay.
technically on demand. Let's say you mentioned, right? So if you just click on that medium or large,
Yeah.
so let's say you just click on the large, at that
Yeah.
time I want to do a DB call,
Yeah.
some backend call, and to get
Okay.
some data, new data from the backend, and show it
Okay.
here. You know what I mean, right? It's a
Yes.
kind of a
Yes.
lazy loading, right? So
Yeah.
that's my question. So we can do it using the jet, or we can't.
We can. So it's nothing but when you
Okay.
say DB call, so it's nothing but a rule you need to trigger. So in that
Yeah.
rule, you need to write your database related query, either to insert something or fetch something like that. You need to write in that
Okay.
recommendation rule or something. So that is possible. So as this is update, so that whatever the rule is there containing your database related logic is there. So as it's related to this attribute, so it will automatically trigger that recommendation rule. So when that rule triggers,
Okay.
your database logic will also run, either to fetch or either to store.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
But do we need to click save at last? In general, like just a kind of to save all the updates, or it's by default saving, right? If you have that
No.
get Ajax enabled on an attribute,
Yeah.
so which
Yeah.
will help us to save that data to the backend. So in that case, you
Yes.
don't need
Yes.
to click save
Yeah.
button, right?
Whatever.
Again.
Yeah. We don't need to click. So whatever the fields
Okay.
you go on modifying, so at that instance only they will get saved to this screen. So at the
Okay.
end, what you need to do is you need to click a process invocation action. So this is configuration,
Okay.
right? So at the
Yeah.
end of the configuration, as we discussed, so we will be getting a result product or some part
Okay.
we are going to get. So to move
Yeah.
to the next module, we need to click
Okay.
a process invocation action, which will take us to commerce.
Okay.
That button you need to.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Uh, so like uh, I also want as you guys will try this rules constraint. I'll like after the class I'll send like list of kind of small exercises regarding these rules and UI and all. So you can try them. So and while you're trying them, instead of working on sample values, so I better suggest you to work on this advanced section also. You can for now you can ignore coding. So whatever the advanced condition is there, BML is there. You can do it for the action part. Let me open this. Yeah, here after selecting the action attribute, what is it? So after selecting the action attribute, so here we have defined BML function, right? So I want you to try this function. So here the basic things will be, so everything for every script, we the mandatory thing is the written line, so the written statement. So as it's asking, so the written type should be string. So whatever the logic we undergo, so ultimately at the end we need to return a string. It can be having some value or anything. So ultimately it should be a string. So we are returning it as empty. So basing on the logic what you undergo, so basing on the values you use or you get, so you will return the values. So you can see the conditions here, like we have like if conditions, if else, like nested if, like that we can use. And we can see the categories here. So try to use this conditional category. Just go through the functions in this category, conditional category. So we have something like if else, for loop and all. And like unlike other environments, so we don't have anything other than for loop here. So if you want to do the loop, only for is available here. No other looping statements we have. So just go through the syntaxes of this. So this will be similar, mostly similar to other languages. If else, for loop. So you can go through the syntaxes here. So try to I'll try to give you the basic like exercises to work on the rules. So you can try that logics with the help of this advanced condition. So first try to set it with the simple condition. So simple condition is nothing but, so you'll select add here. So you'll add the values. You can put conditions as simple condition also here as well. So whatever the dependent attributes you have on the UI, so you can add them as we discussed earlier. So you can add your dependent attribute. You can select the operator value like that, and you can try. So condition you can keep it as simple for now. So try to use this advanced what action part as advanced area. First try with simple values and also try the advanced part. So what I want to you to try is you already like familiar with coding. So I just want to like check the syntax. That's it. So there might be some difference in the syntax. So I just want to try the syntax here. So you can start working on string functions. You can go through the string functions, conditional thing. So initial things you can use for the exercises and all will be so once you're go deep into the project, so you can use the categories. So I can suggest you out of these categories. Uh, so you can try this for to work on the like exercises. So you can approach in this order. So basing on the like priority, I gave you this order. So for initially strings will help you. So then arrays, then maths functions, then dictionaries, then dates. So just try to go through these functions. So while you work on the exercises, so like if something is not working, just you can ping me anytime. So I'll try to reply. So once you're done with them, you can try other functions as well. And some basic functions will be available in this others category also. So here also you can find some basic functions. And so generally, as we discussed, the return statement is important. So whatever we are returning, so as per the editor, so we need to return something. If it's a string, we'll return like this, or return 0. Like this is for integer, float, and comments. You can add single line comments like this. And multiple line comments like this. So you can put your comments like this. So if you're writing your code in Notepad, Notepad or something, Notepad plus, so you can select the language as JavaScript. So it will help you. Like it is somewhat similar to our syntax. So it will highlight properly the keywords and functions, comments, and all. So you can select the language as JavaScript. And then you can start writing your code in Notepad plus. So this is just a suggestion. And so when you start writing your logic, I suggest you to not to write on this editor. Sometimes this editor, like you'll see, it will struck something, or it will show the duplicate lines while writing the code. So it is expected, like sometimes. So to avoid that, better to write your code in your Notepad. Then only, so once your logic is done, so then you can add it here and you can save your logic. So it is just a suggestion. So I came across some situations like this will behave oddly, so you can avoid that. And um one more thing is, you can add multiple action attributes here. So for example, this is your recommendation rule. So you're creating a generic recommendation rule, so with no condition. So whatever the logic is, whatever the screen is there, you need to run that logic, and you need to set some value to multiple attributes. So in that situation, you can add excuse me. So in that situation, you can add multiple action attributes here, and you can write your logics here. So, and this screen is confined to your action attribute. For example, if I add one more attribute, so when I click this, so this fields are confined to this attribute. So when I click the other attribute, so these fields are confined to this second attribute, like that. So these fields are confined to your action attribute. You can add multiple action attributes here. So for each attribute, so this screen will be different. So once you are done with your changes, you can click add and back. So once it is done, so it will go back. So you need to update it. And so as we know, like once we are done with the changes, we need to deploy the things. So as this is confined to product family, so we need to open the product family and we need to deploy there. And here we don't need to do any change. We don't need to deploy in homepage level. So only the changes will reflect. Where is this? I'm opening homepage. Only the changes what you can see on the home page, then only you can you need to go to home page and you need to deploy there. So otherwise you can deploy in your respective area. So you're creating a rule, so it's confined to your product family, so you can open your product family and you can deploy there. uh, you have any questions?
No, Karthik, so far. I think we need to do something. I know the thing is that you explain a lot of things man, without any doing proper development. So we have to keep it up
Yeah,
everything right now. I think we'll try our best to try to replicate whatever you said. And we'll let you know if you have any questions or if you have any issues. At least you know
yeah,
what the
yeah.
thing is that Karthik, if you can guide us or that drive here over here right now by creating an example instead of just telling that over the flow. you were saying what exactly will that piece help us to do, but you did not do it there, right directly. So instead of explaining us the concept, explaining is really good along with the explanation. If you can able to code it over there, that will be more helpful, Karthik. Because we're recording it, right? So technically
Yeah.
after recording, we will just go there and then we'll see how exactly will that work. Because there's a lot of things that you explained today, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is too much for us.
Yeah. So I'll try to give you some basic exercises on these rules. So what the thing is you need to do is, so for that rule, so you need to identify what fields should be there on the UI. Okay. So you need to create those attributes, deploy them, put them on the screen. So and go to your logic area, like whatever the recommendation rule or constraint rule we have. So try to set some value or try to restrict some value with that basing on that exercise. So basically use simple values in the rule. So once you are familiar with that, try to use advanced section. So in case of if you struck something or if you come across any runtime errors or console errors.
Yeah. Okay.